People think cats are mysterious, hard to read, aloof little creatures that keep their feelings to themselves. And that belief is one of the biggest misunderstandings in the entire human-animal relationship because your cat is not quiet. Your cat is talking to you constantly, right now, with its ears, its eyes, its whiskers, its body, and its voice all at once, broadcasting a steady stream of specific, readable messages. You've just never been taught the alphabet. And here's the part that should stop you. One whole channel of that language, your cat's voice, the meowing it does at you every day, is something it appears to have invented specifically for humans. It barely uses it on other cats. Your cat built a spoken language, and it built it to talk to you. So the aloof, silent cat is actually a chatterbox in a language you never learned, and it's been trying to have a conversation with you its entire life. So hold on to two things. First, your cat has been broadcasting on multiple channels all day, and one of them is a voice it created just for you. By the end, you'll understand why. And second, you can talk back in your cat's own language. There are actual words you can say that it will recognize and answer. By the end, you'll be able to hold a basic conversation. And stick around, because the most useful skill of all isn't reading any single signal. It's combining them, the ears and eyes and whiskers together, into one sentence that lets you predict what your cat is about to do a half-second before it does it. I'll show you how to read the whole face at once. Here's why learning this changes everything. Almost every problem people have with cats, the sudden bite, the moodiness, the feeling that you can't tell what your cat wants, comes from the same place. We're trying to live with a creature that's talking to us non-stop in a language we never learned and then calling it mysterious. The cat isn't withholding, we're illiterate, and the cost of that illiteracy is real. We miss the warning before the scratch. We miss the invitation to play. We miss the moment our cat is asking for space or for closeness or telling us it's afraid. We push when it says stop and withdraw when it says come closer, and then we wonder why the relationship feels confusing. Learning even a handful of your cat's words is the single biggest upgrade you can make to living with one. It turns a guessing game into a conversation. Researchers who study feline communication have cataloged these signals precisely and found that cats developed a surprising amount of their language for us. So the question I want in the back of your mind, what if your cat has never once been mysterious? And the whole time, it's been speaking clearly to someone who didn't know it was being spoken to. Because that's exactly what's been happening, and we're about to fix it. Your cat speaks on 3 channels at once: body, voice, and scent. We've decoded 2 of the loudest pieces already in their own right. The tail, that honest mood readout along the spine, and the purr, that survival tool that's so much more than happiness. That 3rd channel, scent, is the one we're nearly blind to, but it's worth naming because to your cat it may be the most important of all. Every time your cat rubs its cheek on you, head bumps you, or winds around your legs, it's leaving chemical messages, marking you as family, claiming you as safe, writing its signature onto you in a language of smell you can't read at all. It's a whole conversation happening on a frequency you simply don't have access to. We'll mostly set scent aside today because you can't perceive it. But know that while you're reading your cat's ears and eyes, your cat is also talking to you in a medium you'll never fully sense. So today, let's read the rest of the body, the parts of the face you've been looking at without seeing, and then the voice. Let's start at the top of the head with the most expressive antennas your cat owns, the ears. A cat's ears are radar dishes wired to its emotions, and their position is a live broadcast. Ears facing forward and upright mean an interested, alert, content cat, engaged with its world, feeling good. Ears swiveling, rotating independently mean the cat is scanning, listening, gathering information, curious or mildly wary but processing. Then the warning signs. Ears turning to the sides, flattening outward, what people call airplane ears, mean a cat that's irritated, anxious, or overstimulated. That's a yellow light. And ears pinned flat back against the head mean fear or aggression, a cat that's frightened or ready to defend itself, flattening its ears to protect them in a fight. Think of a cat named Clyde, whose owner learned to glance at his ears before reaching for him. Forward, and Clyde wanted attention, flattening sideways, and the petting was about to be too much. The ears called it every time, seconds before anything else. That's the first word in the dictionary, and it's one of the most reliable. Now the eyes, because the eyes carry 2 separate signals and people read both wrong. First, the pupils. Wide, dilated pupils can mean excitement, playfulness, arousal, or fear and stress. They also simply widen in dim light, so you read them together with the situation. Narrow, constricted pupils can mean a tense, aroused, or even agitated cat, or just bright light. The key is sudden change. Pupils that blow wide in a calm room signal a spike of arousal, and that's worth noticing. Second, the blink. You've maybe heard of the slow blink, the cat looking at you and slowly closing and opening its eyes. That's the cat kiss, a genuine signal of trust and calm, because closing your eyes near another creature says I feel safe enough not to watch you. The opposite, a hard, fixed, unblinking stare, is not love. Among cats it's a challenge, a confrontation. So soft, slow blinks are affection, a locked stare is tension. Same eyes, opposite messages. And here's where it gets interesting, the whiskers, which almost nobody reads at all. Whiskers aren't just sensors, their position is a signal. Whiskers pushed forward, fanned out, mean an alert, curious, or excited cat. You'll see it when it's hunting, investigating, or locked onto a toy, the whiskers reaching toward the object of interest. Whiskers in a neutral, relaxed position, gently out to the sides, mean a calm, content cat. And whiskers pulled back, flattened against the cheeks, mean fear, anxiety, or pain, the cat protecting them, pinning them down. Think of a cat named Suki, whose owner could tell she was about to pounce on a toy because her whiskers swept forward like a net, a beat before she moved. The whiskers telegraph the hunt. Read together with the ears and eyes, they complete the picture of where your cat's attention and mood truly are. And then there's the whole body, the loudest signal in the room if you zoom out from the face. A cat standing tall with an arched back and fur on end, turned sideways. The Halloween cat pose is frightened and trying to look as big as possible to scare off a threat. That's a terrified bluff, not confidence. A cat crouched low, tense, body compact and pulled in, is afraid or bracing, making itself small. A cat that flops over and exposes its belly is paying you a huge trust compliment, bearing its most vulnerable part because it feels completely safe. Though remember, that's a display of trust, not always an invitation to actually touch the belly. A relaxed cat loafing with paws tucked or stretched out and sprawled or rolling onto its side near you is telling you it feels secure. Think of a cat named Ginger, whose owner finally understood that flopping over and showing his belly the second she walked in wasn't a demand for a belly rub. It was Ginger saying, "I trust you completely," the highest thing his body could say. The posture is the headline, the face is the fine print. Read both and almost nothing your cat feels stays hidden from you. We're almost at the voice and the reveal that's been waiting. But first, the part that ties the face together, and it's the stick-around skill. Here's the thing no single signal can do, and it's the most useful skill of all. You read the channels together, and that lets you predict the next move. One signal is a word. The face all at once is a sentence. Forward ears, forward whiskers, dilated pupils, a low swishing tail, that's not four random things, it's one clear message: I am locked on and about to pounce. Flattened sideways ears, whiskers pulling back. A twitching tail, skin starting to ripple, that's the unmistakable sentence: I have had enough and I am about to bite. When you learn to take in the whole face at once, ears, eyes, whiskers, plus the tail, you already know, you stop being surprised by your cat, because you can see its intention assembling a half second before it acts. Think of a cat named Boba, whose owner swears she's psychic with him. She isn't, she just reads the full sentence. The instant his ears flatten and his whiskers retreat mid-cuddle, she lifts her hand, and the bite that used to come from nowhere simply never comes. That's the stick-around payoff. Closed. Don't read words, read sentences, and your cat becomes predictable. Now the voice and the reveal I promised. Loop 1. Your cat has a whole vocabulary of sounds. The trill or chirp, that rising little brrp, is a friendly greeting, often an invitation to follow, borrowed straight from how a mother calls her kittens. The purr, which we've covered, is comfort and self-soothing. The yowl, that long, loud, mournful cry, is distress or mating, or in older cats sometimes confusion and disorientation. The hiss and growl are unambiguous. Back off, I am frightened and I will defend myself. And then there's the one your cat aims at you constantly. The meow. Here's what almost nobody realizes. Adult cats in the wild barely meow at each other. Kittens meow to their mothers, but as cats mature they mostly stop. They communicate among themselves through scent, body language, and the other sounds. So the meowing your cat does all day, the sound you most associate with cats, has one main audience: humans. Cats appear to have developed and refined the adult meow specifically to communicate with us, learning that the signals that work on other cats don't work on a creature that can't read scent or tails well, and building a vocal language aimed squarely at the species that controls the food and the doors. And they tailor it. Cats often develop specific meows that work on their particular person, a private little vocabulary tuned to you that might mean nothing to a stranger. And those meows aren't all the same word. A short high meow is usually a greeting, a quick hello. A drawn-out, insistent meow is a demand: food, a door, attention, now. A string of rapid, urgent meows often means real excitement or distress. A low, raspy meow can signal complaint or unhappiness. And then there's the one that melts people. The silent meow, your cat opens its mouth, the whole gesture of a meow, but no sound comes out or only a tiny squeak. It's not broken. That silent meow is often pitched too high for you to hear, or it's an especially endearing, soft request aimed right at you, and cats seem to learn that it's devastatingly effective on humans because it is. The point is that the meow isn't one sound with one meaning. It's a flexible little language, and the more you listen, the more words you'll start to tell apart. Sit with that. Your cat looked at you, a creature that couldn't understand the language it speaks to its own kind, and invented a new one to reach you. The meowing isn't noise. It's your cat building a bridge across the species gap with its voice aimed at you and you alone. That's loop 1 closed. The voice you hear every day is a language your cat created for humans and refined for you personally, which makes it maybe the most touching thing in its whole repertoire. And that means this was never a one-way relationship, which brings us to loop 2, talking back. You can answer your cat in its own language and it will respond. The easiest word to say is the slow blink. Catch your cat's eye, slowly close your eyes, hold for a beat and open them, then look gently away. You're telling it, I'm no threat, I feel safe with you, and many cats will slow blink back, the closest thing to a spoken, I trust you too. Beyond that, respond to its trill with a soft, higher-pitched word and it learns you're answering its greeting. Pause your petting when the ears or whiskers say enough, and it learns you understand its no. Use a low, calm voice instead of looming and grabbing. Do these things and something shifts. Your cat realizes its signals work on you, that you're finally a participant in the conversation and not just a creature it has to shout at. That's loop 2 closed. The language runs both ways, and the moment you start speaking it, your cat starts treating you like someone who finally gets it. So here's where we land. We started with the oldest myth about cats, that they're aloof, silent, unreadable. And it turns out they're none of those things. Your cat is one of the most expressive animals you'll ever live with, broadcasting on every channel it has, ears like radar, eyes that trust or challenge, whiskers that telegraph the hunt, a tail that can't lie, and a voice it invented for you. It has been talking to you, clearly and constantly, your whole life together. You just hadn't learned to listen. If you think back across everything, the tail that tells the truth, the purr it shares, the meow tuned to your ear, the scent it marks you with, it all adds up to one thing. A creature in constant, layered conversation with you, using every tool it has, including one it built from scratch to bridge the gap to a human. Your cat was never mysterious. It was fluent and patient and waiting for you to learn even a few of its words. It's not silent. It's been speaking to you all along in a language it made for you, and now finally you can answer. So let's account for everything. The channel your cat invented just for you, the meow, a vocal language cats developed for humans and tuned to their specific person, closed. The way to talk back, starting with the slow blink and answering its greetings and respecting its enough, closed. And the most useful skill, reading the ears, eyes, and whiskers together as one sentence so you can predict your cat's next move before it happens, closed. But I left one sound out of the dictionary on purpose, because it deserves its own video. That rapid, stuttering chatter your cat makes at the window when it spots a bird it can't reach. The teeth clicking, the jaw vibrating, the strange little cry. It's not a greeting, not a warning, not a meow. It's something else entirely, and what your cat is rehearsing in that moment is stranger and a little darker than you'd ever guess. That's the next one. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there.